So Danny Flexon, delighted to be joined by Longtime MC Thomas Treiber, someone who I've known for a long time, actually. We used to work together on some Channel 5, ITV4 shows, I believe it was, with Mick Hennessy. And we're here at the Holiday Inn. Now, you're not staying here, but I believe you've been staying at a certain hotel in this area for quite some time. Just tell people about that.
Well, I arrived here in mid-August. The first event I did for Frank after the pandemic was August 31st, so I had to come in early to do the mandatory, 14-day quarantine. So I've actually been here going on 2 months in a few days in order to do all these events. It was too difficult to travel home in between because the shows have been spaced out just 14 days apart. So it was too difficult to go home and come back and do the quarantine again. So, but I'm enjoying it and just happy to be back working. I didn't work for, about 4 or 5 months. So just thankful to be back here working with Frank Warren.
Tell us how challenging it's been, though, because obviously you've got family back home. You haven't seen them for 2 months. You're flying back on Sunday after the show. Yeah. I bet you can't wait.
Yes, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing my family. Thankfully, with technology today, we've got FaceTime. Those things have really helped to stay connected. And I think that's the hardest part when you're physically away from your family and friends, is the distance. So it's really helped to do FaceTiming and, stay connected.
What's been your favourite of the shows you've emceed on so far since you've been back in the UK?
Well, I'm always excited to see Daniel Dubois, back in action. And although that fight didn't last very long, it was great to see him back. And I'm very excited now that we will get to see the fight between him and Joe Joyce on November 28th. So that one, but they've all been special. I've really enjoyed seeing all the great fighters back in the ring, and I'm glad that they're able to stay active in such uncertain times.
And this Saturday show is obviously headlined by Liam Williams against Andrew Robinson. Williams defending his British title, but he's waiting in the wings for that mandated WBO shot at Demetrius Andrade.
Right.
What do you make of that potential fight, and do you see it happening anytime soon, I guess?
I hope so. I think, I know that Liam Williams is now the #1 mandatory challenger for that world title, and well-deserved. He's looked phenomenal. He only seems to be getting better and better each show. And even though he's not the tallest, guy in that division, I think his style, he's able to, fight well under those circumstances. And I'm hoping that the promoters are able to come together under the circumstances we're all in and make that happen. I think it would be unfortunate for the fight fans not to be able to see that fight in the near future.
And we've also got Nathan Gorman against Richard Lartey. Very interesting heavyweight attraction there. What do you make of that? Does that kind of get your juices flowing? He's a character, Richard Lartey, and Gorman we haven't seen since the loss to Daniel Dubois. Right. He's been out for a long time.
Right. Yeah, I think Lartey's a really good measuring stick. We saw what Dubois did against Lartey. Now we get to see what Gorman does against Lartey. Of course, Dubois did beat Gorman last year, but I think it's a good way for Nathan Gorman to kind of see where he's at this point. He's been inactive, I believe, since his loss against Dubois, so it's very important for him to get back in the ring, regain some of his confidence, and get rid of some of that ring rust so he can continue moving up the ladder, because he's still a very young man. Nathan Gorman is still a very young man, and he still has a very bright future in my eyes.
And just getting back to you for a moment, why do you think you've been able to have so much work and so much success in England, as well as in the US, of course, but specifically here?
I was very fortunate in the late 2000s to be brought over to do a show. My first one I did was December of 2008, Nottingham, England, Trent FM Arena. It was the debut of Tyson Fury, of course, the main event. Yeah. Carl Froch versus John Pascal. It was a tremendous fight. And I don't know, from that moment on, it just seemed like I was able to continue to work here steadily. I really don't know what the rhyme or reason is, but I've really enjoyed the opportunity. The UK fans are second to none. The excitement, I always get the chills before the big main event fights, and the fans are so enthusiastic. And, I've just kept good relationships with people here, and just thankful that about 3 years ago, almost to the day, I got the call to start doing events for Frank Lawrence Queensberry Promotions, and I hope to for the foreseeable future.
What's been the most memorable fight or show that you've emceed on so far?
Wow, there's been quite a few that stand out to me, but you know, one moment that really always stands out to me is the show I did with Josh Warrington against Lee Selby when he won the IBF featherweight world title. And when I announced him as the new IBF featherweight champion of the world, the fans there in Leeds just went berserk. And you know, it was extra special because you're outdoors, and the atmosphere was just incredible. And you know, that there's, like I said, there's been many moments, but that one right there always stands out to me. And the look on Josh Warrington's face when I announced him as the winner was priceless.
And hate to do this to you, but any mistakes that you kind of keep in mind? We all think of like Michael Buffer calling Darren Barker Darren Baker, for example. Any of those that are in your history?
You know, I can't recall, you know, doing that, announcing anybody under the wrong name. I mean, look, we're all human. Mistakes are going to happen. You know, recently there was a situation on one of our shows where I was given the wrong winner. The board actually goes to, because I'm not allowed in the ring because of the COVID precautions, I'm brought the winner and given the name of the winner. And unfortunately there was a mistake on the way the scoring was. And it actually wasn't my fault, but it got corrected, and then I announced the right winner. But those things are going to happen. I mean, you know, human error. But it's frustrating when you're an MC and people think perhaps it was your fault when it wasn't. But you know, that's one of the hazards right now of not being able to be in the ring and have that little one-on-one with the referee before I announce the decisions. There can be some miscommunication.
And just before we let you go, for people out there that want to know a bit more about you, how can they find you on social media?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. You can look me up at Thomas Treiber, and that's Treiber. Also on Facebook, Thomas Treiber, and on Instagram.
Great stuff. We really appreciate your time, and we look forward to seeing you in action on Saturday night.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.